The Prometheus sat motionless on the Pacific, a cathedral of steel and purpose, beyond sight of land. Her deck was a landscape of industrial capability. 27 men and women had spent 18 months preparing for this moment.
The object of their search lay 3 miles straight down, on sediment that had never known sunlight.
The San Jose. Lost in 1708, her cargo was the stuff of legend. A conservative estimate, $20 billion.
Are the manipulator arms clear of the cradle? Almost. We've got green lights across the board, ready for deployment.
Every system was tested, then tested again. Hydraulics, thrusters, life support. The smallest flaw meant catastrophic failure under pressure.
With the first hint of approaching dawn, the crew was ready. The culmination of years now rested on a single dive.
The interior smelled of ozone and anticipation. In this titanium sphere, they would trust their lives to engineering.
For a moment, they hung suspended between worlds. Then, the ocean received them without ceremony. At 200 feet, the last light faded. They were falling into a darkness so complete, the human mind could find no purchase. The descent was metronomic, 100 feet per minute, into increasing pressure and perpetual night. The sphere groaned softly as the pressure mounted, 1,300 pounds per square inch, a constant reminder of the abyss's embrace. They passed a giant's grave in the mid-stage of consumption. The deep turns all things, eventually, into sustenance and structure.
The San Jose. 3 centuries of burial had transformed her. She now belonged to the deep.
Webb set them down with the gentleness of a falling leaf, and suddenly the legend stood revealed in terrible, beautiful clarity. The cargo commanded attention. Silver bars lay like cordwood. The survey sonar had been right. The density signatures were overwhelming.
Chen directed the manipulator arm with glacial slowness. The first attempt failed. The marine growth was too slippery.
With careful pressure, she worked the lid. It resisted 3 centuries of seal, then suddenly gave way.
Inside, a solid mass of gold coin. 2 months' wages for a craftsman, times thousands. A worked gold object of impossible craftsmanship. It glowed with its own light.
Reaching the main prize required excavation. They worked blind in clouds of their own making, trusting sensors to guide them.
The drill advanced through material time had turned to stone. 40 minutes of relentless, grinding patience.
They broke through, and there, secured to the hull itself, was a different kind of box. Heavy bronze covered in
The brackets were fused by time. Detaching the box was a ballet of precision, avoiding stress that could damage it, or them. Finally, it was free. 300 pounds of history, suspended in the water before their viewports.
The recovery system awaited. A lifting frame, connected to the Prometheus 2.5 miles above by a single steel cable.
Chen secured the collar with agonizing care. A single mistake here would send their prize tumbling back into the dark.
Package secured. Beginning primary ascent.
Confirmed. Starting winch sequence.
Her compressed voice traveled up the cable.
The winch engaged. The frame began to rise at 50 feet per minute. A leisurely walk from the abyss.
Their part was done. They rose toward a world that suddenly felt alien.
The blue lightened, a promise of the sun. And there was the Prometheus, waiting like a mother ship in the void.
They breached into noise and light and air. The shock of return was always profound. But the mission wasn't over. Their prize still rose from the deep. The deck was transformed into a recovery theater.
All eyes were on the screens. The winch telemetry was a countdown to history.
Watch the swing! Bring it down slowly! Rope secured on this side. Hold steady.
It cleared the edge. And for the first time in 3 centuries, the bronze box hung in sunlight. It was lowered with the gentleness of laying down a child. Contact. The cradle accepted its burden.
The cleaning was meditation. Each stroke of the brush removed a microscopic layer of time, revealing the craftsmanship beneath.
The lock was a masterwork, but it was not engaged. The box had been sealed.
She looked at her crew. They had earned this. Every one of them. No words were needed.
And then it was open. The afternoon sun fell on contents sealed before the modern world was born.
One by one, the treasures emerged. A pectoral of a winged god. A mask with beneath the artifacts a leather folder. Inside, a manifest. Not just of what they held, but of 10 more chests like it.
The true value was beyond their most optimistic estimates. 20 billion was conservative. The historical significance was beyond price.
They had brought the past back from the dead, reclaimed history from the ocean's relentless grip. It was enough.
The energy has subsided. Begin packing immediately.
Understood. I'll take the jade.
The San Jose was found. The deep had yielded its prize. The abyss had tested them.
The artifacts were secured, each one a priceless key to a lost world. The work of preservation began immediately.
The political and legal phase began. Their meticulously gathered data was now evidence.
For the pilots and crew, the adrenaline had faded. In its place was a quiet awe for the dark world they had visited and returned from.
We've crossed the threshold, but the San Jose still holds the majority of her cargo. Our work is just beginning.
Phase 2 required heavier tools. The delicate submersible had proven the way. Now, industrial-scale recovery could start.
Reroute power to the stabilizers.
Copy that, and radio check. Do you copy, pilot?
They returned to the strong room, not as explorers, but as miners of history. The goal? Systematic, documented retrieval. Each chest was handled like a fragile egg, though each weighed hundreds of pounds. Positioning was everything.
Accidents happened. Time had made the ship's bones brittle. Each small collapse revealed new hordes, documented in real time.
While the strong room was emptied, mapping continued. The goal was a complete digital twin of the wreck site before any major structure was moved.
The first major load reached the surface. The sheer volume was becoming tangible. The deck would become a temporary museum.
The rhythm of recovery settled in. Lift, clean, catalog, preserve. The Prometheus became a factory for resurrecting history. Sarah, wait. The ocean reminded them who was in charge. Weather halted all work. A frustrating but necessary.
In the forced stillness, the weight of responsibility settled. These were not just treasures. They were cultural.
And that's when we hit the current. I had to pull her up hard, angled at 90 degrees, or we would have been crushed.
Their focus expanded beyond the strong room. The ship itself held artifacts, weapons, tools, personal... A simple inscription could anchor 100 historical theories. It was a direct link to the shipyard, to the world that built her.
From above, the operation seemed insignificant against the ocean. Yet here, they were systematic.
The sensors picked up more than precious metals. Buried iron, scattered by the explosion, hinted at where the ship's shattered heart lay.
They uncovered the debris of battle. The violent end of the San Jose was written in this twisted metal, a snapshot of her final moments.
The sensors found something new, not part of the main wreck. A dense, isolated map.
To identify the anomaly, they needed a sample. A core drill was deployed, designed to extract a pencil-thin column of the seabed itself.
The core told a story. Sediment layers, then metal. Not worked metal, but fine flakes.
It's not a chest. The density is uniform. It's an ingot. The signature suggests a single, solid object.
Teamwork to the slide, Tram. We need to establish the main grid lines before noon.
Make sure the readings are precise. I have double-checked the...
Check the depth profile here. The gradient seems steeper than anticipated.
It's within tolerance, but we should adjust the trajectory slightly before finalizing.
Dawn on excavation day. The ship was a nexus of focused energy, holding its place against the currents, waiting. The excavation began. They dug not for treasure, but for truth. Each scoop of mud brought them closer to the mystery's heart.
The crater is 20 feet across and stable. We've reached the target layer, but the anomaly remains obscured by silt.
Then, contact. Not wood, not stone. A surface so smooth and preserved it defied 3 centuries on the ocean floor. A silver ingot, but of monstrous size. A mother bar, used as the standard for minting an entire fleet's payroll.
One doesn't bury a single ingot. Scan around it. There must be more.
The find was magnificent.
The sonar revealed the truth. The ingot was the capstone. Below it lay a vault, a stacked matrix of...
The recovery plan changed instantly. This was no longer about chests. This was about moving mountains of precious metal. It was a sight few humans would ever witness. A fortune in raw silver, born from the ooze of... The weight of history had a sound. It was the deep, resonant thud of 3 centuries of silence ending.
It's exactly 36 by 12 by 6 inches. Solid gold.
The harvest of silver continued through the night. The Prometheus's deck transformed into a courtyard of lost treasure. From the air, it was a vision from a fable. A city of silver, floating on the endless blue.
The sheer scale of the silver was overwhelming. But for Chen, the crown held a different power.
This batch matches the 1707 Potosi Mint records exactly. This is the proof we needed.
Each stamp was a historical document.
All right, everyone, smile big. We finally got it all. This is incredible. This is incredible.
With the great cache recovered, they returned to the wreck for one last look. It was a farewell, of sorts.
The work was done. The Prometheus, heavy with history, would now carry its burden back to a world waiting to bear its weight. She left the coordinates behind, etched in data and memory. The abyss closed over the site once more, keeping its remaining secrets.
Landfall brought a strange emptiness. The grand quest was over.
They were met not by a hero's welcome, but by a gauntlet. Governments, lawyers, and journalists all claimed a piece of what they had found.
Chen became the face of the find. Her calm, academic demeanor was a shield against the frenzy of claim and counterclaim.
We did not find treasure. We found a time capsule. Our duty now is to its stories, all of them.
We begin tonight with breaking news. The situation behind me is escalating rapidly, and we urge everyone to stay clear. This stunning footage shows the massive reserves being moved as the spot price of silver hits a new record high.
The world absorbed the story. It was a sensation, a puzzle, a diplomatic incident, and a scholarly windfall, all at once.
The Prometheus rested. Her purpose fulfilled, she waited for the next mystery, the next deep call.
The sensor array is calibrated. Cross-reference the data log one last time.
Confirmed, engineer. Everything is nominal.
Coordinates became a museum exhibit. A submersible rested, Data became knowledge. The cycle of exploration was complete.
She had stared into the abyss, and it had yielded a secret. But she knew it was only one.
And below, in the perpetual night, the abyss kept its silence. Waiting. The Prometheus was scrubbed clean of the abyss, but the stains of rust and salt fade remained, permanent tattoos from her journey.
The legal battles began in earnest. The question was no longer what, but whose. History, law, and politics collided in air-conditioned rooms.
The story traveled full circle. In places whose history had been stolen, the images of returned art.
We connect 2 points in time, a painting from 1708 and a sonar echo from last year. The space between them is history.
But is it right to take things from a grave, even for history?
It's the essential question. We document exhaustively, we preserve, and sometimes we return.
Ethics in the deep were never black and white.
From these humble plans, a legacy was built that would redefine our world.
The honors came. They were polite nods that came from a world could never understand what it truly intended meant.
Some secrets you carry with you, some you let go. The coordinates were public now.
Time moved on. New technologies were born from the old. But the photograph remained, a fixed point in personal history.
The secret, once yielded, never stopped echoing. It changed careers.
And the ocean, as always, kept its watch, holding its breath, keeping its countless other secrets